able to see both. So this, I don't think most of you guys have ever heard before, but this is a page from the old manual that we removed because we felt like we wanted to shorten the demo a while back, and we took some things out of it that we felt like the video did a good job covering. However, I realized that some of you guys might not know about this stuff, so I wanted to read it out to you guys. It's only one page. This was in the old demo that we used to do. So you guys will recognize the first part where we say, Mrs. Jones, most people have the world's most expensive set of knives. Most people have a drawer full of knives that don't work, and most households have a perfect example of planned obsolescence, which means they're actually engineered to dull or break after a year or two. Most people spend a ton of money replacing their knives over and over again, and this can be very expensive in the long run. For example, if you spend $150 on average on a low quality knife set and replace it every couple years for 40 years, that means that you'll spend $3,000 on junk knives that are unsafe, unsanitary, and unenjoyable. Now, there are two types of handles. So there are wooden handles, which are attractive when new, but are extremely unsanitary. They absorb liquids, bacteria, grease, germs, and retain odors. Wooden handle knives are outlawed for restaurant use in 37 states because of sanitation concerns. Plastic handles, on the other hand, are usually cheaply constructed, so they melt, chip, crack, and break, and they're slippery when wet, which is extremely dangerous while you're cutting. Now, there are two types of steel. Carbon steel is stronger, so it stays sharp longer, but it rusts and corrodes, which is unattractive and unsanitary. And stainless steel looks good, but it's a soft metal, so it won't stay sharp and is difficult to sharpen. But common knives are also constructed very poorly. Most knives have a partial tang, which is how far the steel goes into the handle, making them weak and unbalanced so they break easy. And most rivets are made of brass, which expand, contract, and loosen, creating unsanitary gaps. There are also two types of edges. Serrated edges, which rip and tear your food and cannot be resharpened, and straight edges, which make a smooth cut, but have to be sharpened constantly to maintain effective. The hard cutting surface is what dulls the knife, not the food, and both of these edges make direct contact to the cutting board, dulling them quickly. The dull knife is way more dangerous than a sharp one because you have to push so much harder. All right, so that was the old common complaints slide, like part of the presentation that we used to have. We removed that to save time. I think your guys' common complaints one is only like 6 or 7 bullet points. But I thought that it was important for you guys to hear this, to know where that comes from, and for you to understand why you're saying what you're saying. And I'm gonna let you guys go, but I will end on this one example. This happened once when I was on a presentation. I've also heard many horror stories of reps experiencing the same thing. I think I was in Whippany doing this presentation, and this woman had a really like yucky wooden handle knife. It was basically like, it looked like this one right here. And she pulled it out for us to do the rope test. And as soon as she went to cut the rope, the knife snapped. And when it snapped, on the inside of the wood, you could literally see like maggots and mold inside the wooden handle, which is literally, I'm so sorry because I know this is so gross. It's so gross, but it's a true story. And I've heard other reps tell similar stories. I remember I heard it and I was like, that's so gross. I don't even know like if that's like, I don't know. And then it happened on one of my demos. It was the grossest thing ever. But yeah, she went to cut the rope and it literally, the knife snapped, and on the inside of the wooden handle was bugs. Like it was just really, really gross. So I hope that helps. I don't have nightmares, but I'm sure that you guys can see now from, like, we always talk about looking from your customer's perspective. Like Cutco's awesome, and I realized like you guys might not even realize how awesome it is without understanding the more detailed version of the disadvantages of common knives. So that's what I have for you guys. I love you guys. I missed you guys so much. And I hope y'all have a great night.